Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Doris. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you're new. Nice to meet you. Today we're going to be taking it into a hands-free flow. And a hands-free flow means that we're not going to put any weight into our wrists. So we do that a lot in yoga, like on our all fours, in a down dog, in a plank, you name it. So we're not going to be doing that today, but we are going to use our hands and arms, obviously, but we're not going to put our body weight into it. So it's great if you have a wrist injury, and it's also just a great creative way to practice yoga. So whenever you're ready, I'm going to meet you on the mat. So we're going to start in a seat, and feel free to prop your hips up, especially if you feel like the knees are coming up really high, just to allow the spine to be nice and long. Maybe just shaking out the shoulders and allowing the spine to grow nice and tall. Connecting to your breath, maybe closing your eyes if that feels like something you'd like to do. Rooting down through the sit bones or through your block or your blanket. Noticing how it feels to sit with your body. Noticing how you're feeling in this very moment. And taking 2 final rounds of breath here. And then you can keep your eyes closed if they are. We're just going to start circling the neck. So allowing the head to come to one side, slightly lean back, and then through center. Shoulders stay relaxed here. Relaxing the jaw, an area that we can hold quite a lot of tension in. Maintaining your upright seat. And then next time you bring your chin to chest, let's just switch it around, other side. Noticing if there's any areas that feel tighter, perhaps you want to stay there and hold the movement for a moment and continue breathing. And then next time the chin comes to your chest, stay here. Gentle stretch for the back of the neck. And then gently lifting the gaze, maybe just shaking out the shoulders for a moment. And then we're going to bring the right hand to the outer corner of your left thigh, either thigh, knee, wherever you feel like you can reach it best. Inhale, reaching the left arm over, so bending over to the right. And then exhale, starting to round the spine, crossing your left arm over the right and coming to the outer corner of your right leg, chin to chest. And then inhale, right arm breaks free, reaching over to the left. And exhale, cross it over to the left leg, chin to chest. Inhale, the back arm, your left arm breaks free, side bend, holding onto your right leg. Left leg, sorry, and exhale, round it down. So keep on moving here, always releasing the arm that's in the back and then crossing it over, bending away from the arm that's holding your leg. Continue moving here, getting into the upper back, but also the sides of the body. Just a few more rounds here. Warming up the spine. And then next time you're rounding the spine, just stay here, sinking gently back. And then slowly releasing your arms, rolling the spine upright. And stepping your feet out in front of you, wider than hip width distance. So we're going to get into the hips now. And for some people, doing this without the hands can be quite a lot. So you're more than welcome to prop up behind you if that's not a problem in your body. Or you can bring the hands together in front of you. I like to interlace mine. So we're just going to windshield wiper the legs from one side to the other. So either with your hands in front or leaning slightly back. And it can be that you're starting to move along the mat. And that's no problem. Just make sure you bring the hands back. Or if you want to stay in one place, try to plop the hip that's been lifted slightly back. You can stay here. I actually start moving myself. Or maybe you want to start to bring your weight into the shins, lift up and come back down. That is easier if your heels are closer to your body than if they are further away. Let's just take 2 more here. I'm starting to approach the camera slightly. Perfectly fine. We don't need to be in one spot. We're moving. And then coming back with your feet out in front. And then we're going to come onto the knees, and you can just prop the knees over to one side, or you could cross your legs, rock over your crossed legs and coming onto your knees that way. Walking slightly towards the back of the mat. Making sure that your knees are comfortable, so either padding them or bringing something like folding the mat twice. We're going to be spending a bit of time on our knees now. So roughly having the knees a bit apart, so they're not too close together. That can be quite intense for the lower back. I'm going to go into a little child's pose camel flow. And it's quite a big back bend, so just go as far as you feel comfortable going today. We're going to start child's pose, so reaching the hands back and bringing the forehead down. Don't worry if it's not down, we're just going to stay here for a breath. And then on your next inhale, lifting the chest, starting to come onto your knees, maybe reaching the arms alongside the ears, slightly lean back, core glutes all engaged, and then exhale, bending the knees and returning into your child's pose. Inhale, rise tall, and exhale, come back down. Move with your breath here. Don't go too far in your back bend. Like I said, making sure that the lower back is comfortable. And thinking of opening in the upper back rather than leaning your lumbar spine down. Let's maybe just do 2 more here. And then staying in our camel, allowing the hips to move to the front and leaning the upper back. One more breath here. And then release the arms, stay in your kneeling. Shifting the weight ever so slightly into the left foot. Right foot steps towards the front, 90-90, so quite a narrow lunge. Making sure the knee is comfortable or padded if it's not. Right hand on right thigh. Inhale, left arm reaches. Exhale, reach over to the right side bend. Inhaling and releasing. Bringing both arms at shoulder height, palms down. And then crossing your left arm over right, bringing the upper arms as close to your body as you can, and then bending your elbows, hugging the arms in, either backs of the arms together, maybe right hand reaches for the left thumb, or palms together for eagle arms. Maybe you want to lift the elbows slightly. Maybe reach the hands a bit further away from you. Just find a gentle stretch in the upper back that feels good for you. One more breath like this. And then slowly start to unravel and lean slightly to the left, bringing your right knee to meet the left, leaning into the right foot to step your left foot out in front, 90-90, left hand on left thigh, inhale, right arm reaches, exhale, bend to the left. One full breath here. And then coming back. Arms at shoulder height, this time right arm over left, crossing the arms and wrapping them together, either holding your right thumb, palms together, whatever you can bring together, and press the arms into one another as well. Maybe lift the elbows, maybe move the hands further away from you, staying in your low lunge with eagle arms. Right glute is engaged. Inhale and exhale, release it slowly, releasing the arms, leaning slightly to the right so that you can bring your left knee to meet the right, sitting on to your heels, and then leaning slightly forward so you can tug your toes under and then push the knees off the ground, finding balance perhaps, or maybe you want to just support yourself with your hands. Take a moment to get settled here. And then for something a little playful, trying to bring the knees down slowly once again, so leaning a bit back. And there's usually that moment where with momentum. And then maybe try to lift them up again. So use your arms like you would on a tightrope. So just play around with this. Up and down. Doesn't have to be pretty, doesn't even have to work like you think it would. It's a bit of playtime, something for the inner child, something to not be so serious about. And then let's all meet in the little squat, heels lifted. Maybe you find your balance again. Maybe you're still searching. And then just fingertips down, heels down, walking the feet just a bit apart. Allow yourself to dangle, maybe hold on to your elbows, shake your head yes and no. Maybe sway side to side, perhaps keeping a gentle bend in those knees. 2 breaths here, in and out. And then releasing the elbows, bending the knees generously, and roll yourself all the way up to standing. Maybe you just give yourself a bit of a shake and walk to the middle of your mat. Going to continue balancing a little bit, going into tree. Left leg, standing leg. You can bring your right heel against your left foot or left leg, and then walking the foot further up if that's where you'd like to be. Making sure you press your foot into leg and leg into foot to find balance. Maybe you want to grow like a tree in that way, or bring the hands together, anything that works. Find your drishti, your focal point here. And if it's wobbly today, heel against the leg, perfectly fine, and toes to the ground. I often see that version is just not very popular because I think people want to challenge themselves. But if it happens to be a wobbly day, why not support yourself in that way? Taking 2 more breaths in and out. And then release it all. Right foot comes down. Feeling into your legs. And then let's switch it up. So once again, maybe heel and toes connected to the ground, or stepping your foot into your leg, making sure that your right knee is gently bent, and then find whatever tree you want to be, whatever you want to do with your arms. If you have them sort of sideways, it can be easier to balance. If you have them together in front of the heart, that can help you maybe center your midline. So it's really whichever you feel most comfortable with. Pressing foot into leg, leg into foot. Two more breaths in your beautiful tree, whether it's a windy tree, whether it's a tree that came to the ground, whether it's still standing. And then release it all down. Shake it all. And then we're going to continue into warrior 3. So left leg once again our standing leg, and already going to tip the toes behind you, coming onto the toes, lifting the heels, and want to point the hips forward. So we don't want to open the legs to the side. That can happen just because that usually allows us to bring it higher up. So we're going to keep the foot pointing back and the heel up. Gentle bend the left knee, maybe hands together in front of the heart, and then we're just going to start to lift that right leg. Gentle bend the knees, lean slightly forwards, and really rotating the right foot inwards so we're not getting tempted to open the hip. Find your drishti on your ground, and if you're coming out of the pose, just take your time to come back in. Don't rush into balance. That's usually a recipe that you're falling again. Final breath in and out, maybe slowly or not so slowly coming out of the pose. And then taking it to the other side. So left toes step back, right knee is bent, finding position for your hands, and then just starting to hinge forward and up. Once again, just turning your toes inward, your foot inward, gentle bend in the right knee. It's not about how deep you go, how high. It's about how you feel on the inside. That's such a cheesy line, but it is really true, especially in yoga. Take maybe a final breath in and out, and then slowly coming out, stepping your foot back down, and shake it off and find a wide-legged stance. So bringing the weight into the outer corners of your feet, hands to the backs of the thighs. We're going to go into a little flow and the hands are going to move with the movement. So inhale, open the chest, shoulder blades together, gently lift the gaze. Exhale, start to hinge down from your pelvis. And then as you come lower down, moving the hands as you go down on the backs of the legs. Exhale, come all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, move the hands towards the backs of the knees, long neck, long spine. Exhale, all the way down. And then inhale, come back up, move the hands all the way standing. Exhale. Inhale, shoulder weights together, grow tall. Exhale, start to move down from the pelvis. Hands move, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, melt down. And then grow tall all the way. Inhale, chest opens, and then we go down immediately. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale. One last time, let's grow tall. Open the chest and exhale, round. Halfway lift. And melt it down. And then releasing the hands, maybe you want to hold on to your elbows. Maybe you want to come from one side to the other, one leg to the other. Just take 3 breaths here, doing whatever feels right to you. Final breath in and out. And then bring your fingertips just out in front, heel toe, the feet a little together, but so that they're still wider than hip width distance apart, and feet point away from you. Let's bend those knees, find the squat, and find your balance perhaps, or maybe fingertips down. And if you feel like this is really compromising your back, if you have the heels down, lift the heels, no biggie. Now, often the heels come down, but then we stay in this hunched little squat. So maybe you just want to lift your heels. You can still press your arms into the inner corners of your leg to open them a bit wider. Let's just take 3 rounds of breath in your little squat. And then final breath in and out. Release the hands if they were in front of you. Just guide your sit bones back to the ground. And then right leg in front of the left. Find a cross-legged seat. Shuffle the feet a bit further out so they are in line with the knees, more or less. So we have this little triangle here between the legs. You could keep the right leg out in front, or maybe right foot on top of left knee, making sure that's comfortable in the knee. You could also elevate the hips here, but maybe today you want to have the foot in front. Push the heels away from you, grow tall. Take a breath in, maybe stay here, or maybe exhale, fold forwards. Bring the arms out in front, and you can choose whether you want to find a more rounded fold or perhaps a bit active, a bit more upright, and thinking belly to thighs. Push the heels away, taking 3 breaths here in your double pigeon. Final breath in and out. Slowly rolling back up, taking a leg if it was placed on top and bring it down, lean back, and then switcheroo, left leg now in front. Let's just first shuffle the feet apart, and then maybe you want to stay here, maybe you want to bring this foot on top of the leg. You know, there's a gap here between my knee and leg, perfectly fine, but really make sure that's okay in your knee joint. Grow tall, take a breath in, stay here, or maybe find your version of a fold. Push the heels away, the toes towards, so that we engage the legs. Maybe you can feel the difference when you do that. And let's stay again for 3 rounds of breath. And then slowly unravel. If you were folded, take your leg if it was placed on top, and maybe you want to stay in a seat like this. Maybe you choose to lie down to finish practice. Move whatever you're most comfortable with. And just gift yourself a few moments of outer and inner silence, or if you're moving, just inner silence. Slowly coming back into the breath. Starting to take conscious breaths as you come back into the body. Maybe you want to just wiggle and move in a way that feels good. And then perhaps bringing the hands together in front of the heart, taking a breath in and out to maybe bow as a humble gesture of gratitude towards body and mind. Thank you so much for taking this time with me and for honoring your personal needs and boundaries. Namaste. Thank you so much for taking this practice with me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope your wrists got a little bit of a break. I know that they can be a very common part of the body that can get injured just because we tend to spend a lot of time and body weight on our wrists. So this is not only an opportunity to give them a break, but it's also a nice creative way to approach a yoga practice. I also do have a practice for ankle and wrist mobility here on my channel if you want to work on strengthening your wrists and your ankles as well. And on my online yoga studio, where you can find the link down in the description box, I also have a practice just for wrist mobility and strength. You can check out my online yoga studio for free for 7 days, and then there's no strings attached. Make sure what you like, and comment how the practice was for you, and subscribe to this channel to not miss out on my future videos. Have a great rest of your day and see you very, very soon. Bye bye.